Howdy everybody, and welcome to Dreams of Infinity. I am Matthew R. Dawson, your friendly neighborhood host and magic keeper for this Magi-Knights Awakening campaign. And joining me around my virtual table tonight are Ashleyien, Hana, John, and Kira. Say hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
They're so good at that. Los, unfortunately, is not able to make it tonight, but we wish them the very best and hope to see him next session. Now, before we begin, we do have a few announcements to get through, starting with the first of our two sponsors for tonight's show, Hero Forge. Hero Forge offers fully customizable tabletop minis with dozens of fantasy species and thousands of parts to choose from. Their easy-to-use design tool lets you build your perfect miniature online using a fully 3D in-depth character creator right in your web browser, which is where we built the tokens for this evening's game. You can build yours today at HeroForge.com. Our second sponsor for tonight's show is XSplit. XSplit is a high-quality virtual webcam background remover that works with your already existing webcam. Using this program, you can protect your privacy while you work or play remotely by blurring the background, removing it entirely, or even putting your favorite pictures in the background instead. You can download the app today at xsplit.com, and if you use the coupon code RANDOM with a capital R, you can get 10% off of your purchase. You can find our referral link in the chat and show descriptions. Last but not least, this Monday we are back with another episode of Ether Shanties, our Sagas campaign. Our team is hurling through space and is encountering what appears to be a gigantic outer space whale. God knows what that thing's going to do, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Now you can keep up to date on our schedule and everything we do here on the network by following us on Facebook as Random Rhapsody TV, on Twitter as @random_rhapsody, on Blue Sky as @Random Rhapsody, and on TikTok as Random Rhapsody_TV. And that's going to do it for our announcements. So join us as we return to Loroupa City and continue on with the Magi-Knights as they investigate the Dreams of Infinity. And we're back. So as I've mentioned, in this campaign we do our recaps by offering up the Random Rhapsody coin for whoever wants to do the recap. Whoever gets that coin gets to re-roll, which is a useful tool here in this game. If I get the coin, I have a few different ways I can use it, and it's always going to be scary for our heroes, and no one really wants me to do that, and that's fair, which is why I offer it up. So, with that in mind, who wants to do the recap this week?
I will.
Okay, well, Melody, tell us what happened last time on Dreams of Infinity.
Okay. James Ronan approached me at the beginning of our lunch period and asked me to follow him to the school roof. I was very curious about what he wanted, but I kept my composure despite the walk up the stairs, feeling like it took 2 weeks rather than a few minutes. James confided in me that the Loroupa High soccer team is all involved in building a spectral structure somewhere. He's not sure where yet, and that they're storing the spectral energy for it at Loroupa High. He then showed me his soul crystal, which was all cracked and held together by some kind of red energy or substance. He then told me that he's only able to survive by collecting spectral energy for himself, and that he needs me to keep the other Magi-Knights away from Loroupa High until Saturday, so that he can use the energy there. I want to help James, especially because I know he helps us in his stylish purple and black cloak and steampunk goggles on a regular basis. But the other Magi-Knights don't know that's James, and they don't know his life is in danger, and he understandably wants all of this kept secret. It looks like I might have to learn how to put on a show like Aisha, and hope I manage to keep all of my friends, including James, in the process. Ugh, did I just call them friends? They're all coating me in too much sunshine and rainbows. I need to go spend some more time skulking in the graveyard to recover from this. After school, Aisha and I went to an indoor obstacle course, escape room type of place, to feel better about our rough day at school. She tried to ask me if we could check out Loroupa High some more when we all went on patrol together, but obviously I was completely against that. Thankfully, Aisha figured this out without much explanation, and she even helped deter the group away from that topic when it came up later. Aisha might actually be pretty cool for a friendly, bubbly idol girl anyway. For our investigation time, Salem and I went to the AA meeting at the Sacred Hearts Church. Aisha and Kat went to the hospital, and Damian went to the library to find places the Loroupa soccer team might practice away from school. It sounds like we might be checking out some farmlands soon, which is great news for me. Anywhere but Loroupa High itself. At the hospital, Aisha and Kat learned that the name of the man who was brought to the hospital from the Lumberyard was Mikey Chi. But other than that, they sadly couldn't get more information because of a nurse that could give Miss Trunchbull a run for her money. At the Sacred Hearts Church, Salem and I found out that Pastor Bishop's assistant, Amish Olive Oil, Sister Margaret, keeps notes on all of the meetings. I need to break in there sometime to get a peek at that. Hopefully I'm more successful this time around. We also learned that a famous anger management speaker named Christian Splattery will be at Sacred Hearts Church next month. Given how creepy everyone at that church is, especially Pastor Bishop, I can just imagine how that event will go. That's all for my recap. I hope you enjoy the session.
Very well done. There you go. There's the random Rhapsody coin. Don't forget to use it, though. It's only going to last this session. But very lovely recap.
Thank you.
Well, okay. Magi-Knights. Let's get some music going on here. Because it is still Wednesday, September the 4th. And you're all currently leaving the various locations of your investigation phase. Melody and Salem were at Sacred Hearts Church for their AA meeting, and Kat and Aisha were checking in the ghost hunting club at Loroupa General, and Damian was also out at the local library researching those locations. Now, as you're all leaving, you do hear over the communicator, Damian, messaging you all, letting you know that they got a call from their parents while they're at the library, and they have to head home. They're going to try to catch up with you if they can, but if not, they'll let you know. That leaves the four of you kind of stuck in a little bit of a transportation limbo. Damian is the one who usually drives you everywhere with their car, but of course there is still, the bus system. The bus system is still out there and it is still going. However, it is the end of the night, It's just getting right towards 11 o'clock, which means wherever you go on the bus, that's where you're going to end up being. And you're going to have to find a way to get from wherever you are at that point to where you want to get to from there. Does that make sense? Now, there are still things out there that isn't the public transportation system. There are cabs that still function well into the late of the morning. Or, if you're really desperate, you could just call your parents and have them come pick you up. But I don't know if anyone really wants to do that. So, just throwing it out there. But with that in mind, I assume the four of you get to the nearest bus stop, or do you take a cab? Either or, you have a destination in mind for your patrol this evening. So where do you want to go?
I think Salem's actually going to go over the intercom once we're far enough away from the church and just tell the others to wait by a general, because typically there's bus stops by hospitals for easy transportation. So I say we just reconvene there, get on a bus, and then we can figure out the way back home. Cabs are always great.
Yeah.
Okay, so so where are you planning on meeting up together?
The hospital.
The hospital. Yeah. Got it. Okay. Yeah, that's not that difficult. The two of them can just kind of wait while you are heading in that direction. There's waiting rooms and things like that. It doesn't take long. You're not super duper far away from one another. It's literally just a few blocks between Sacred Hearts Church and Loroupa General. So the pair of them arrive within 5, 6, 7 minutes at most. From there, where would you like to head out?
I believe the goal right now is to knock off our oldest lead and head over to the Lumberyard.
Only issue with the Lumberyard is it's probably the hardest one to get to without a car.
Figure it out. We got this. It'll be all
right.
No, it's not too far from my house. Well, it is.
Where is it at? I don't see it.
The top of the map.
Yep, top of the map.
Right.
Oh, there it is.
As Kat points out, it is a bit of a trek from the city itself. Judging based on the map that you can easily somebody have, you can look and see where it is, and the nearest bus stop lands somewhere close to it, probably down here, but there is a bit of a trek between that stop and the Lumberyard. At most, it would be a 45-ish minute walk. It's not that super far.
Mm-hmm. That's probably where we'd park anyway.
Yeah.
Works out.
Yeah. So, looking on the map itself, it's about 5 miles walk, which is a little farther than I was expecting, actually. Yeah. So yeah, it looks like it's about 4.5 miles. Judging based on where I'm guesstimating the last stop would be. So you could either walk that and take a couple hours to get there. You could run it and go full pace. You might get a point of exhaustion, but you'd get there well within an hour. You're Magi-Knights. You can run fast. It's not going to take too long. Or you just flag down a cab and take a short cab ride. Either way, it's up to you. All this determines is what time you're arriving at the Lumberyard. That's the only reason why I want to know.
I think we should, there's no guarantee that, what we'll find isn't before the actual yards. I don't see there's any reason to rush over there. Just walk over, take our time, keep our eyes peeled for anything suspicious on the way.
And I also don't want to draw too much attention to us. Cab jumping a bunch of kids outside the Lumberyard.
True cabbies would know not to say a word. At least that's what it was like in New York City.
This isn't New York City.
I like it. Well, okay. The four of you jump on the next bus and start. You kind of have to hop at least one bus to get to the location. But after about 30 minutes of driving, you do arrive at the other side of town, at the last bus stop. You wait until the bus peels off, and you kind of wait a few more minutes just to make sure no other cars come before you start making your way down the road towards the Lumberyard. Now, the Loroupa City Lumberyard is located just at the edge of the large forest that is just outside of uptown Loroupa. The place is massive, and some parts of it to the far north are actually considered Federal Reserve property. But there is area that is forested, and basically they have a replant cycle of cutting down trees, replanting, moving from section to section to section. The Loroupa City Lumber Company actually owns quite a large acreage of forest, and it's a place that anyone who's lived in this city for a great deal of time would have at least seen a little bit about. You know, like elementary schools would take field trips to there to check it out, maybe even a middle school. Different places, like there's always events in towns and that companies will come and sponsor, and they would definitely be one of them because they're probably one of the richest companies. Well, I say that, or it was probably one of the richest companies until the tech boom of the 80s. So at this point, maybe a little smaller than what it had been 20 years ago, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. What you find when you do arrive is a large fenced-off area. You've seen this before, as I've said, but I'll describe it for you all. The building itself, there's only one main office building here at the yard. It's a large double-wide trailer that the fence, the chain link fence that goes around the whole complex, just basically connects to either side of this double-wide trailer, giving it a passway in and out for people to go through to do business. But it's not very large at all. You can see a few windows which are darkened. You can see there is a single doorway that leads into that building, and then there's the fence of the yard around it. If you've seen one lumber mill, you've seen them all. Big stacks of trees, well, logs more than trees, all piled up on large pallets and placed along the line of the fence, waiting to be cut down and made into lumber. There's pallets of different sizes of wood planks all over the place, and there's a lot of trucks that are all parked that are used for the transportation of both the logs and the cut lumber. The property itself that you can see is a good acre and a half just in and of itself, all fenced in. And since most of you have been there at least once or twice in your lifetime, if you've lived here for a while, Salem obviously has not. But those of you who have can accurately say that, yeah, typically what you would do when you would go there as a kid is you'd go up to the front office, they'd let you in, you'd see a small office work area, there's a few back closed-in offices for the big bosses, and then there's a door that leads out into the yard. Along that, right next to the big building, is a wooden structure that holds the actual gate that goes into the yard itself. It's one of those double-wide chain-link fences, but it kind of goes on a conveyor belt. It's electronic. So there's a little keypad in the front that someone has to punch in, or just the trucks themselves have a little keypad that, you know, they press like a garage door, and the double-wide chain link goes sliding open. Trucks will drive in, drive out, so on and so forth. That's the lumberyard. And it's huge. Now, above that fence is barbed wire. The chain link has those aluminum slats that go through it that leaves it mostly unable to see through. There's like little gaps that you can look through, but like at a distance, you can't really see what's on the other side of the fence. It's meant to blind the normal passers-by. But if you get close to it, you can look through there and see on the other side. You would also know from not only your own experiences, but from the police report about what happened to those kids, that there is security cameras on the outside of the perimeter. They mostly show the line of the fence itself. There isn't a whole lot of coverage on the inside of the yard, but there is a little bit of coverage on the outside. So these are the general things you would know, and this is the sight you see as your group is walking up in, well, the dead of night. Fortunately for you all, it is a moderately cloudless night. The moon is out, the stars are out, there are street lamps on occasion, and there are lights around the perimeter of the fence as well, illuminating the line. That way, you know, the security cameras can pick things up. So this is your sight as you all approach. So my question to you, Magi-Knights, as you draw close to the Loroupa Lumberyard, what do you plan on doing?
I feel like the first thing as soon as we get like pretty close to the fence would be just checking our crystals.
Are you going right up to the fence to check your crystals? How far away are you stopping before you do this?
Can I do a little perceptitude to try and avoid standing near any cameras?
Okay. Yes, go ahead and make a perception check.
9.
Okay. You kind of glance about a little bit. You can definitely see the cameras that are on the building itself. You think that you don't see any a little bit to the side. You kind of go around, leading everyone in a big, wide arc until you come to a place that you're fairly confident doesn't have any security cameras. You take out your crystals. Anyone who wishes to can make mysticism checks to pull out their crystals and examine them.
You're so bad at this.
Nope. No
Wow.
pressure. No pressure, Kara.
Yeah, I'm pulling up my sheet.
I'm like,
right
I
now.
did bad.
Sorry.
Wow, wait a minute. So far, Cat's the best. Change my name on here.
I rolled a natural 7.
But
Wow.
This place is fine. We can go home.
Yep, fine.
Oh
Also,
my gosh.
Okay, so what do we all get?
9, 5.
6.
Cat got
9.
Oof.
13's
Yeah.
the best.
This bodes well, everyone.
This is what happens when we go investigating down a person.
You do
They
have
probably would
the
have got a 20.
you do have the random Rhapsody coin if you want to use it.
I'll save it for something else.
That's fair.
No. Cat wants to see if we could see where because the ghost hunters had had filmed. Can we see where they were when they filmed?
I'd like you to make an investigation check because, yes, as you no doubt suspect, pulling out your crystal, you do not see any glow from them.
"13 again."
It's a little bit difficult to find. You start walking around the perimeter of the fence, which is, like I said, a very large, wide fence. And you're going slowly because you're looking for something to stand on. You make almost a full circuit around the perimeter of the fence, trying to keep as careful a watch as you can for those security cameras. but you don't see where the ghost hunters climbed up on. There's nothing that obviously shows a place to stand. You do vaguely remember that the ghost hunting did describe that they found like some boxes and pallets that they stood on. But making a wide circuit around, it's not there.
Okay. Maybe they were
Someone cleaned
moved.
it. Yeah.
It's not that
Maybe they were caught
surprising.
on camera when they did that, and they were like, "Oh, kids could get in here," and moved it.
I mean, this is
Yeah.
also a functioning lumberyard. I'm sure that boxes don't just stay in one spot for long periods of time. I'm sure they're constantly being moved and shifted.
Yeah.
So,
Not sure when the video footage was taken either. They were quite excited about it, though. Fairly present.
It's been a couple days since then, either way. Over a week.
Is there a
Shit.
camera that's close enough by that if, let's say, someone were to throw a rock to knock it down, they could do it?
Oh, absolutely. If you're kind of watching, well, there are some out there, I will say, but make me a perception check. Let me see if you can find a good one to throw a rock at.
16.
16. There are several that you think you could hit. Most of them are, like, imagine a chain link fence. There's posts every so often that's holding it up. Some of them have extender poles, and you can see the camera quite clearly on it. The fence itself is maybe about 10 feet tall, so the extender would give it another 5 feet in height. But still, 15 feet is easy to throw something at.
Well, I can attempt it, but I don't know if anybody else has good coordination. Because I think with a few rocks, we might be able to just clear ourselves a path, you know?
Aisha just points a cat.
Mhm.
I'm okay with coordination.
Oh, it's just like the Dance Dance Once More music video. You got this.
Throwing rocks isn't normally what I do, though. I can
Well,
try.
I mean, could your little rhythmic dancing whip get that? Does it have that reach?
If we were transformed.
Yeah. We're not transformed, so we don't have it.
Hmm.
I could try to throw it.
I believe in you.
So do I roll a coordination to throw a rock? Someone find a good rock.
Yeah, coordination would be a great one to roll for this.
So roll so far. Oh,
Yeah.
18.
Nice. You pick up a rock that's a little about smaller than the size of your hand and kind of judge a little bit. You hold back and throw it and launch, and it goes spinning through the air, hitting it right on the barrel of the lens. The lens cracks and shatters in there, and it like kind of pushes it to one side. You have a very nice blank spot to stand and operate in.
And to think, it took you like a week to get that harpoon through the flaming hoop.
Whose idea was it for a harpoon in a flaming hoop, though?
Me.
And did you have to do it?
No. If I had help like you.
As you're saying this and you're kind of all chuckling to yourselves, you hear the voice of the Wanderer call out, "Wow, that was a really good shot, Kat. I'm really impressed by that."
Thank you.
That was really cool. I do want to point out, though, that human security cameras are kind of useless when it comes to Magi-Knights. Even in your civilian forms, you exude a little bit of an aura about you that discourages things like cameras to capture your likeness when you don't want to be seen.
Oh, Okay, when you don't want to be seen. Salem was about to be real offended for a second.
Oh,
So
I
it
thought
won't
it was only when
regulate
we were
us.
in Magi-Knight form.
It actually has a little bit to do with intent. If you're worried about being caught like you all naturally are right now, it basically just automatically comes into being. It's a really useful feature.
yeah.
So we'd be all blurry on the camera.
Yeah. But destruction to private property is still kind of fun.
It's cool as hell to see.
I don't like doing that kind of thing.
Cat,
We
I'm
just
so
have to
proud of you.
investigate. If there's an outsider here, we need to find it.
Well, it is called breaking and entering. If we didn't break, we could never get to the entering.
Okay. Still don't like it.
Speaking of breaking, does anybody have any wire cutters?
It's not something I carry in my bag on a daily basis.
I left mine at home. Shit, sorry. All right.
So what now?
Is the fence climbable?
Yeah, it's a chain link. Well, kind of. It is a chain link fence, but each of the links have that metal slat down the middle of it, so you can't like put the toe of your shoe in there very effectively. It would be an awkward climb. You also have the issue of the barbed wire on the top of the fence.
Yeah.
Okay. My first thought was, are the vehicles all locked, and does the button in the vehicles work if the vehicle isn't on?
Button?
All of the vehicles, I will point out, are on the inside.
Okay,
of the
they're
fence.
inside.
Yeah,
I was
on
about to
the
say,
inside.
is Kat suggesting we steal a car?
Button?
Not steal a car. Press the button to
I'm
open the
so
fence.
proud of you. Do you want to smoke now or something? Like,
I'm
are we going
confused.
to that level?
What
Salem?
button are we talking about?
Salem,
No,
that's
no.
not. That's a horrible. No, you can't smoke.
No, you're all right. You're right. You're right.
Magi-Knights have to be somewhat pure, at least.
But we don't
Dancer,
get
I don't smoke.
What button?
we don't get
To open the
normal
fences.
diseases anymore, so we won't get lung cancer.
I don't
Wouldn't that be-
care.
You know what?
Wouldn't that
I'm learning a lot tonight. This is
Wouldn't that
very
be-
informative.
Wouldn't that be in the security booth? Anyway.
There's probably a way to open it from inside the security booth if you want to go into there.
True.
Yeah, maybe we should try to break into that.
Well, now that we know we won't get caught by the camera, so let's just brazenly walk over to that security booth.
Go in the front door.
I mean,
Thanks,
last time we
Wandy.
tried to,
Yeah.
time we tried to jump over a fence, it didn't go so well for some people.
It was fine.
Well, just remember that while technology has an issue with you, you do still leave fingerprints.
Mm,
Does anyone have gloves? We need to become more prepared.
Well, now that
No
we know
school
this next time-
uniforms. We need gloves. We need.
I'm just gonna.
I think canonically my character would have fashion gloves just in her bag.
Would they be gloves or would they be the fingerless lace ones?
Ooh.
Not familiar with that. I was not a girl in the 90s.
They're very cute.
I was imagining like the sleek, like long-armed ones.
We all know that Melody has fingerless gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Leather ones.
Mhm.
All right. To the booth. Let's see if what we can do.
Okay. Making your way back around to the other side of the front of the building. It is like right up against the road. So there are lights, there are overhead street lights, so you are visible. There is a parking lot in front. There aren't any cars, unfortunately, parked in the parking lot there. And then there's the double wide trailer that has the fences connect to it, with the front door, a large window next to that. Curtains are drawn. The door obviously is going to be locked. You have no doubt about that. But besides the door and the window, the double-wide trailer actually is a little bit shorter than the fence. You kind of all realize as you're getting close to that. The building itself is only about 8 feet tall, whereas the fence, the chain link, is 10. A little bit shorter. And there is a bit of a stairs that lead up to the front door as well, making it like it's taller than all of you all, but not so tall as the fence.
Maybe we can climb over the building. Or onto the building.
How tall is everyone's character?
I think I'm 5'10", pretty average.
I'm 5'2", so I'm short.
I don't remember.
I remember that Damian was the tallest at 6 something. I think 6 foot even.
I think
Yeah.
5'10" is still
5'4".
enough.
Yeah. So 5'10" now would be the tallest.
Salem, may I have
You're
your
not climbing
shoulders?
on me. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I would rather we find a trash can before I let you put your boot on my shoulder. Thank you so much.
Boot, please. We're Converse.
That's worse. Anyways. Just kidding.
Fascinating.
All right. If we two... let's see.
Is there a trash can nearby?
So to say, is there actually like things to climb on over?
Make a perception check.
I don't have much luck with 11.
Are we all able to
see
take
nothing.
a look?
Yeah, go for it.
4? That's a nothing.
15. Oh, we both got 15.
Yeah.
So you don't see a trash can in the front of the building, unfortunately. You do see a dumpster over to the far side, but that would be too large and heavy for y'all to generally, pick up and move about if you weren't in your Magi-Knight form. With your 15s, however, you do see that, at a ways distance, there is another building nearby. There's a it looks like a garden center kind of store that has really large water barrels type barrels all along the side of the building over there. It would be like a quick 30-second run over to there to grab one if you wanted to. That's really the nearest thing you can find that would allow you to climb.
I'm imagining currently Aisha and Salem are now discussing why they should and should not put their feet while you guys are like, that, let's go.
Yeah,
And the
that's true.
The dumpster's not in a location that's useful.
It's a dumpster bin, so it's actually pretty big. It's like 8 foot
the
wide
question
by
is-
5 foot tall.
We can't just climb onto it and then go over.
Oh no! It's
Yeah.
well enough away from the fence and away from the building so that
Okay.
no general prowler could just go and do that.
I'm glad to have a basic security and undermine.
Yes.
Okay,
So
then,
I guess Melody and I will go and get those barrels.
yeah, I'll just
Get a-
roll it over.
Get a full one.
Okay. So the two of you are going to make your way over to the plant store, the garden store, and grab a couple rain barrels. What I would like our fearless leader to do is roll for me a d20.
Just I want a 7.
Oh no, don't laugh.
That smile is scaring me.
I know, don't laugh.
So The two of you make your way over to the garden center, and you're grabbing the barrels. And they're kind of heavy. Like, the ones that are full, you can't pick up on your own. You do find one that's kind of half full of water that the two of you could carry together. Or there are also several empty ones that each of you could carry one of those if you want to. Which one would you prefer? Are you just wanting one, or are you wanting two empty ones?
Do they look like they're tall enough to reach or to get over the fence with one?
Over the fence, no. Onto the building, yes.
Okay. Then yeah, we probably only need one, right?
We only need one, then we'll take one.
Yeah, let's get the one that's half full. Or,
And there's no people around here.
Wait.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so here's the that's what I'm wanting to know. So the two of you are grabbing it and begin to lift it up, but as you're doing so, as you're getting ready to start heading over, with your passive perceptions, all of you would notice that there are a set of headlights in the distance on the road that are starting to come towards you all.
Oh crap.
Oh.
Let's duck behind the barrel.
Let's find a place to hide.
Yeah. Now, did all four of us notice?
Yeah, all four of you would notice this about the same time, or within a few seconds of each other. So I'm
Okay.
asking all four of you what you're going to do.
Yeah, I want to hide behind the barrels before we get too far with that one.
Yeah.
Salem,
Barrels or the building, or depending which way it's coming behind something.
Salem, hide. I'm gonna take out a pad of paper and start drawing like I'm planning a video shoot.
Are
Okay.
you good at lying? Can you? Okay. You know what? I'm curious how this is gonna play out. I'm gonna go hide then and let you do your
Don't
thing.
you know the work of an idol is the work of a liar?
Yet to see that, but all right. And then I'm gonna go.
Okay. So, those of you who are hiding, make for me stealth checks.
Are you kidding me?
Okay. What do we got?
They both did really well, but I got an 8.
Okay. Is that our final answer?
I got a 21.
22.
Did Aisha roll?
I'm not hiding.
Yeah, Aisha's not hiding.
Oh,
Aisha.
right. Okay.
So while the three of you go scurrying away, Melody getting behind one of the barrels, Kat getting behind the building, the actual garden center's office building, and we'll say that Salem, you go running towards that dumpster, which is really the only good sign of place of cover, and skid. You have to skid along some gravel and get your back against it just as the car begins to pass. As that's happening and it's passing, Aisha, you have your bag down, you've pulled it out, you have some paper, and you're just kind of scribbling notes on it, making the impression that you're just taking down notes. So give me a performance check.
Hell yeah. That's why I didn't bother hiding, because, natural 20, 25.
Okay.
What?
You, without a shadow of a doubt, are convinced that you are putting on the best performance of your life of making notes for a location for a video shoot.
I'm actually just doing it at this point.
Yeah, you're that's literally all you're doing. Okay, you're actually planning it out in your mind, a real video shoot for this location and writing down notes. As you do that, the car drives on by. And after a moment, you can see the red headlights, or the red taillights, disappear as the car turns to the right. About maybe a quarter of a mile down the road. You all watch this and you kind of breathe a sigh of relief. And you all start crawling out from your hiding places once again.
Wow. Good job, Aisha.
You know, there might actually be something here. Like, I could put on some overalls, do a whole, like, worker girl thing, girl power. I'm gonna shove it back in my bag and close it.
Use your idle thing to get us into the lumberyard for a closer look.
We're a bit away from actually doing my re-debut.
We're working on it.
Okay.
So, did it look like a police car or anything, or just a regular car?
It was a four-door Honda Civic. It was.
Was that like out in the open? Was I able to like see into the car at all?
I'll allow you to make a retroactive perception check.
Thank you. That's wow. Finally, the dice like me 17.
The driver is a middle-aged man. He has a little bit of a beard. He has a ball cap on his head, and is wearing glasses. You do see him, as he's driving by, he turns and looks at you and kind of does a squint for a second, like turns the other direction as he's driving past the garden center, because like imagine the lumberyard's here, the garden center is a little bit farther up, and so it's kind of catty corner. So you see them then look at the garden center, do a double take back to you, and then keep driving on.
He realized we were just playing hide and seek.
Hide and seek outside the lumberyard instead of in a graveyard or something.
I guess at this time of night we would be calling it manhunt.
Manhunt.
Is that just like an East Coast Canadian 90s kid thing?
I mean, the thing that popped in my mind was It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia when Frank goes, "You can never hunt a man!"
Oh my god.
Manhunt was like, it had to be late at night after the streetlights turned on, and it was like hide and seek, but like with extra chasing and a safe zone, and like teens did it.
Same, but we did it with Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
But we did have that.
No, we definitely had outdoor late night hide and go seek. We did it with flashlights. Anyway.
Memories.
Yes, memories. With the car now passed, I assume that Melody and Kat resume carrying the rain barrel over, or just rolling it across the street now, towards the lumberyard. You can position it in a way that it's right up under the roof. If you stand up on it, it's you're able to reach up and grab the edges of the awning that's at the front of the roof. It's a little rickety, but you're fairly confident it can hold your weight. The only thing I'm going to need from everyone to make the climb up it is an athletics check.
Come on, seriously.
The dice do not like you.
Uh-uh.
Not just today, just in general.
It's been a hell of a spread today, that's for sure. Aisha, you got a 15, Salem 16, Kat 10, Melody 4. So, Aisha and Salem, the two of you get up with no issue. Even Kat, it was not a difficult DC. You were able to get up on it. Melody, for whatever reason, as you get onto the rain barrel, and you kind of, you're the shortest one. So you kind of have to get on your tippy toes and hop a little bit to grab onto that. And when you do, the toes of your shoes push against the rain barrel. The rain barrel falls down and you're just left hanging there, dangling with your feet kicking, as the awning begins to bend forward underneath your weight. Your friends all have to go rushing over and grab your arms. You're working together. You are able to pull her up. But as you all get Melody up onto the roof and you look back at it, you can see that the awning has been pulled forward and is dented forward in a way that it will be difficult to get back into place.
It looked like that when we got here. That's what I'm going to say.
And try to straighten it slightly.
Yeah, you grab it and kind of pull on it a little bit, and you try to get it. It's still obviously bent. You can get it. You get it back a little bit, so it doesn't look as bad. But then again, you also only had the one set of gloves, so.
I'm gonna try
Melody.
I'm gonna try
It's that
wipe any
teenager
prints
instinct to just
possible with
run.
my handkerchief.
Okay, absolutely. While Aisha is doing that, the rest of you kind of look about, and I don't know if anybody's ever seen the top of a trailer before, but it's basically just a flat sheet of metal, kind of corrugated a little bit, but there's not a lot on it. You can see, like, there's a couple vents with those spinny pipe things for ventilation. There's a refrigeration unit towards one side of the building that you can see on the top of it. And then there's the wide awning that goes all around the outside of the building, giving a little bit of a lip that's only about a foot off of the top of the building itself. So it like doesn't provide a whole lot of protection. But you also get the sense that nobody really comes up here because the top of it is grimy. It is covered in dust. It's covered in sawdust and black soot from the diesel trucks that have to transport all the lumber everywhere. Slick with a little bit of slime from rain and mildew that just builds up naturally on a place that nobody ever cleans and surrounded by the woods. It's dirty, it's sticky. Your feet are kind of tacky as you step across it, and buildings like this aren't really designed to hold a ton of weight. Like you don't feel like ever in danger of it falling inward, but with every step, there's just that little bit of uncertainty that makes you not want to like run. You get my meaning?
Yeah.
Fortunately, now that you're on the top of it, however, you can see past that awning ledge and see into the lumberyard itself. And like I've described, it is full. On the one side of the building towards the right, towards the eastern side, you can see the row of the diesel trucks, the shipping trucks, all laid out and ready to go. There's others that are in the middle of like loading and unloading in different various areas, all throughout the main region. From there, you see stacks of wood, lots of wood, from lumber that's been just trimmed of branches and stands in big pyramids to pallets of different size and shape boards. You can also see towards the back the big building of the mill itself, a very tall two-story structure of mostly just aluminum where they actually do the processing of the wood. That's towards the middle of the lot itself, and then all the wood is kind of around it. You can also see that from where you are, it would not be difficult to climb over the awning and jump onto the bed of one of those trucks and climb down and get into the yard. There's also conveniently quite a few places along the interior of the yard where there's just stacks of lumber that it would not be difficult to climb up onto and jump over the barbed wire fence.
To know.
So these are all things that you would just naturally be able to see. Because while it is the dead of night, there are lights that illuminate parts of the yard, the outside perimeter to be sure. But there's also a lot of dark areas, places where there are no light. So, now that's kind of the gist of what you all see. So, what do you want to do from here?
First and foremost, now that we have a vantage point, I want to try to at least scan the area to see if there's any like major movement, like We didn't see any people, right?
Not so far.
Okay. So I kind of want to just do a scan to make sure that we are actually in the clear. There's not somebody walking to where you can like see a silhouette or something. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Security guard.
Yep.
Make a perception check.
Just a 7, so we're good.
Yeah, you do not see any signs of movement from the top. It actually seems pretty dark and quiet for the most part in the interior of the yard.
So where to now? This place is big. I don't remember. I don't remember where the ghost hunters caught that footage.
I mean, we could always split up and see what we could find.
I think it might be safer to stick together. I think we should be looking for water or mirrors.
Or anything that
I'm
looks odd.
I'm trying to remember what all happened in that footage we saw.
I know there was ghosts, and they looked like they were being like torn apart or something.
Yeah.
Oh, that was here? I got that confused with the graveyard.
Oh,
Yeah, that was at
Then-
the graveyard.
I wonder if there's a wood chipper.
No, that was here.
Was that here?
Yes.
Oh, I thought. Okay. Then why did they go to the? Never mind.
That was a
They
different
saw
story.
they rumors of lights in the graveyard, so they wanted to check it
that's
out.
right.
That's
But their video footage was of the lumberyard.
They'd already checked out the lumberyard.
Anyone who, if you're not quite sure, I'll also allow you to just make a general history check, or what is it, an academic arts check, I guess.
I have my notes on it. I'm just trying to find it.
Same. I just got them mixed up. So
That's fair.
I don't remember what session it was. We saw the video.
It's been a
Very
few.
early.
yeah.
Oh yeah, so they caught photos that they were showing in succession of 4 youth that were all mangled, and the ghosts were indigo colored, and they were attacked by something, and their bodies were destroyed. That's what I wrote. I also wrote lumberyard as top priority, even though it was not our top priority.
Well,
I just think if we can find... Okay, if there were cultists here, they probably didn't leave out the front door. They probably used their weird reflection jumping stuff to leave here. So if we find where they would have left, we can go backwards to figure out what they were doing.
I think the best option would actually be to survey the whole area, go along the fence, go around the perimeter first, and then work inward.
Yeah,
Because
because
we're just
we didn't.
neighboring about.
Yeah, I'm
Next,
just
we
getting
didn't-
more... Sorry, you go first.
I was just saying we didn't see evidence of cultists in the video, just some kind of outsider that attacked them all. So
Mhm.
I do think that's a good second step, but first maybe
I'm
try to
thinking,
see.
yeah, I'm thinking like Salem says like that's how we should approach it. I'm saying like what we should like be visually looking for while looking.
Okay.
'Cause it's easier to look for something if you know what you're looking for.
We don't know really what we're looking for exactly. I mean, reflective surfaces might be how they get out. Maybe how they get in, I don't know.
Either way, we have a way to look and what to look. Let's stick together and hopefully we won't miss anything that way.
I think if we're going to split up, it should be at least 2 and 2, not more than that. Like not.
Yeah, no,
Division-
that's
divide it
what
more
I was
than that.
thinking. If we each go on different ways of the perimeter and meet in the center on the other side, that way we can cover more ground quicker.
And then kind of go through the middle in the darkness together.
Exactly.
That works. I think that won't be too bad then.
It's a really big perimeter, so we might have to like jog or something. And keep a lookout. Okay, fine, we'll walk.
It's just like, are you implying I need exercise? Hello, Kat?
It's just
I
a
think-
big area, and I feel this is gonna take forever.
I know.
I think taking our time and making sure we don't miss anything will be better anyway.
Okay.
All right, Magic, let's do this.
So what's our going to be our? How are we splitting up?
We just keep the same pairs we had during investigation.
That works for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, climbing down is a little bit of a chore, but not a difficult one. I need one more athletics check from all of you. This is literally you jumping off onto the bed of a truck and trying not to roll your ankle.
Oh, thank you.
Finally, Melody, I'm proud of you.
Can't embarrass myself again.
Oof.
You do it with style, getting down now.
Yeah.
It's a little easier to fall than it is to climb upwards. So for most of you, just getting over that lip of the awning and dropping down, it's not a challenge. Salem, however, you kind of land a little rough and you step weird, like on the edge of your foot and your ankle. You just get that sharp pain.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
I was trying to like do it right and climb down, hold on, but then like a little bug crawled over my hand. That was too much. I just let go. Ugh.
Yeah.
You probably just slipped on the slime on the roof too.
Ugh.
Yeah. So when you hit that truck, your ankle is on fire. You're able to walk. It's not broken, but you can definitely feel a light sprain.
Yeah. It's fine. We're fine. Composure. We're good.
Okay. The four of you then climb down off the bed of the truck and onto the soft gravel of the main lumberyard. There's a gravel road that kind of goes around in various areas. You can see the big building of the sawmill itself in the distance. It would probably take you about just a quick jaunt to get between where you are and the building itself. You said you want to stay around the perimeter, one going one way, one going the other. So we're going to say that one's heading east, one's heading west, then they're both going to have to head north, and you kind of meet up in the middle on the other side.
Remember our danger word. He's got a knife.
Exactly.
Okay. So since each group are in pairs, this will make it very easy. I want each group to make a investigation or perception check, your choice, and a mysticism check. So 2 checks in total. You can all decide who's doing which check, however you want. But go ahead.
I misunderstood. It's one each.
Yeah, no, one each. So one person's making either investigation or perception. The other person's making a mysticism check. Because I assume both groups are taking out your crystal and watching for it for spectral energy as well.
You're better off doing our mysticism, Ash, because you have a positive number on that.
I'm proficient, so I can do mysticism.
Great, because I've got a 4 in either perception or investigation. So
Okay,
we're
that's
on
good.
that.
Oh, look at these. These are all great numbers.
Okay, let's go around the table. What did we get?
We got an 18 on investigation.
Nice.
19 mysticism.
Nice.
I got, where's mine? Oh, 14 mysticism.
Okay.
And 21 investigation.
Both groups rolled very well. As the two groups split off, going in the 2 different directions and start making their ways around. At first, you don't see a whole lot. It's kind of dark, but the lights of the perimeter give a little bit of illumination. You have to go around to look in the different corners because all these big piles of wood and pallets, there's a lot of different gaps and places to check. By the time you see something, it's a little after midnight. The moon is high in the sky. and it's giving the area an almost ethereal sort of feel. Both groups are on the northern side of their east and west passes, so they're getting close to the back edge of the fence. And as you do so, you notice that there's a low-hanging mist that's beginning to sweep in along the ground at your feet, just about at ankle height. We're going to say that Salem, you are the first person to spot this, but at barely a few seconds later, Kat, in that same moment, your soul crystal begins to glow with a light, faint light from the center of it. It is not full and complete in the way that it does when spectral outsiders appear, but it is so in the way that it often does when there's some form of spectral energy in the vicinity. So it's not a full bright, but it is there, and it is illuminating softly in your hand. Salem, what you see is, at first it's almost like little kind of hovering orb of light, and then another and another that kind of move past your vision and go behind a bit of a pile of timber. You're towards the back of the property, like I said. The mill, the sawmill itself, is towards your south. And between that and the back fence, there's quite a lot of pallets that are all set up and getting ready to be shipped out. And it's towards that back area that you see those faint orbs start moving. My question is, at that point, who's the first to grab the communicator to say they saw something?
I think I would. I would whisper exactly what I saw into it. Just let them know.
Glowing crystal.
All right. Well, there's something here. I don't know if it's malicious or not. Doesn't honestly seem that, but I saw some orbs heading over in this direction.
About that moment, Aisha, you hear something. It's difficult to parse out exactly what it was. It sounds almost like a low rumble. Like, you know when an engine is starting to trying to turn over, but it's not quite connecting? It's that sound. You hear that in the distance.
We've got some kind of machinery going on over here. Trying to start, failing. Maybe a chainsaw. How loud? Like, obviously it's hard to tell, but like, does it seem like it's coming from something big or something small?
Going based on your 18, it's bigger than a bread box, smaller than those trucks you saw previously.
Okay.
It kind of sounds like machine in nature, but it also echoes to the point that, like, the only reason you heard it is because of what you rolled, because your perception is so high, the fact that you heard it at all, but without getting closer to investigate, it's hard to make out whether or not it's, like you said, like a car starting, or maybe some machinery moving in the saw mill itself, or one of the many other pieces of machinery that are in the distance. Like, they have little cranes and backhoes and stuff on their property as well that really weren't important to mention, but they are there and they could make those sounds.
Hard to tell from this distance, but it's weird. Anything's going on right now.
Do outsiders use tools?
Who knows? wanderer next to you to answer that?
Yeah. I wonder, are you around?
You say that and you kind of look about and you do spot him sitting on top of one big pallet of 2x4s. His tail's like flicking back and forth as it hangs down the side of it, and he says, no, not human tools. Cultists can. They're humans, so they can interact with things like that, but outsiders tend to use their own type of tools, their magic, their power, that sort of thing. So no, not that I've never seen an outsider trying to drive a car or something like that. I mean, that'd be kind of funny if they did.
Well,
If you ever see one, let me know. But
I'll take pictures. It must be cultists here then. I don't know who else would be trying to turn on a machine in the middle of the night.
Well, it could also just be some dumb kids.
Or it could be workers doing overnights, but...
Well, we're not at that stage of late-stage capitalism yet. It's time for another 5 to 10 years.
Well, my dad was doing late nights back then, so it's possible.
Could just be their schedule.
Yep. Regardless,
can
we
we
should
get
probably
closer?
investigate.
Yeah,
we should meet up first and come from one angle.
Oh, good point.
okay, I would like each group to make another investigation check. Everybody can roll them individually, actually. You're moving closer now. You're trying to find where in the middle.
Kat and Aisha are not doing well.
No.
Kat and Aisha, like you both have things on your mind. Aisha can't let go of the sounds of machinery. Kat is just focused on her soul crystal. So, yeah, that's kind of what you're focused on. Melody, you see this last, but you would see it before the other two. However, Salem, you are definitely the first one to spot those kind of orbs again. They're just faint glowing lights that seem to be moving towards the back, towards the back area of the fence. You see them once again as they go around another pallet of wood and kind of disappear behind it.
How many orbs is it? Is it just
4 in total?
That makes sense. Okay. I think we may have found our ghost kids.
I don't want to see them reenact their deaths, though.
No, but I do want to try to help them if we can.
Yeah.
Where are you guys?
Where's anyone?
I don't see any ghost kids.
Yeah, the sad thing is Aisha and Kat are together, so they're just kind of wandering off into the distance somewhere, looking for the rest of you, but like I'm imagining the two of them are going off in this direction while the other two are kind of going off, making more towards the center. Salem and Melody, the two of you are still following along. After a little bit of Melody, you kind of follow Salem past some bundles of wood and behind a pallet, and there you see those 4 orbs as well. They're coming towards, it's almost like a gap of space. Now, for the most part, you've kind of been going through a maze of pallets that have gaps between them so you can move about. They're spaced in ways that cranes can lift them up onto trucks without, like, bouncing into one another. So there's always gaps between them. However, as the two of you emerge from between some of those, you see a bit of an open space around about 25 feet in diameter of just open area. The ground at your feet is mostly gravel and dust, but it is very muddy in the space. You can also see that there is a large indentation in the dirt and gravel. It's about, you roughly estimate around 6 feet wide and around about 15 feet in length. And it's just an indentation in the dirt. And then you see this big, wide, about maybe 7 or so feet in diameter across of a muddy patch in the dirt and gravel. It's not so deep that, like, you would sink into it or anything. Just like, you know, kids, you look, you can see the mud, you can tell, like, your shoes would go down into it, but that's about it. But it is there, and it's wide, and there's a little bit of surface water on it, not a lot, but it's just a big old muddy patch next to this big, wide groove or indentation. And then it's in this big, wide open space, which is, it just stands out as odd, as different. Like, this is the first time you've encountered this big of a gap towards the back of the complex.
What do you think we should do, Melody?
We need to find some way to get Aisha and Kat over here.
True. I can hold down the fort, keep watch if you want to go track them down.
Oh, I don't want to leave you alone.
Hey, if things get crazy, I'm not going to be alone. I've got Arya with me.
That's true. Yeah, I guess. What?
Yeah, let's cut back to Aisha and Kat, who are just kind of weaving through these pallets and stacks of wood right now, just kind of going through it. What do you do?
Where are you guys? Can we follow the sound or follow... Does the crystal change intensity at all? Or does it stay the same?
It seems to be saying the same, just that consistent, low, soft glow. You said you wanted to listen, you're trying to hear them? Is that what...
Or can we listen for the sound of that Aisha heard, or listen for them if they're making any noise?
Actually, I'm going to ask across the communicator, can you hear the sound I heard where you are?
No, you have not heard it.
They say, no, we didn't hear anything.
Not sure what it was.
I want to try and, like, triangulate between, like, where I'm hearing the sound and where it probably isn't coming from to get closer to them.
Okay. Perception checks from both of you, please.
19 total.
15.
Kat, you can't hear anything. Neither the sounds of your friends' voices, who are not being loud. I assume you've all been kind of whispering into your communicators this whole time, instead of, like, shouting across the thing. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. So you don't really hear them speaking, nor do you hear any sounds. Aisha, however, you do hear a different kind of sound. It's similar in the fact that it's that low, but it sounds like it's coming from something else in a little bit of a closer direction. Yes, Salem, your crystals are also glowing. Everyone's are.
Oh, I meant, like, actual, like... I know there was a point where we could almost, like, make them radiate, glowing to, like, see things.
That's our cells when we transform.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. I wasn't sure if it was...
I thought you could control that when you're, like, just in general. Is it just when you're in your Magi-Knight form?
That's a good question, actually.
I seem to remember it being at any point, because I remember
You might
I've
be
used
right.
it as, like, flashlight before.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was imagining. So.
You might be right, and I'm just remembering wrong.
Well, let's go with that for now, because I think it's just more consistent. You should have a little bit of control of your crystal.
Okay. So are you wanting to shine your light then? Salem?
I think so. Give them a little bit of a beacon.
Okay.
Okay. So the two of you are going to focus on your crystals and illuminate them brighter. That way, hopefully your friends can spot that at the distance. Sure. You focus on your crystals. They begin to glow brighter, illuminating the area around you. And as that happens, you do see something else coming into view. 4 shapes. At first, they're indistinct, kind of flowy, almost mist of about a 2 foot in length. But there's 4 of them, all kind of moving towards your group, towards the 2 of you. However, they don't go past you. They're coming from the opposite direction. And they seem to stop above that groove that I described previously. And they're hovering there. Thanks to the glow of your lights, of your crystals, they kind of shimmer with a little bit of a silvery sheen as well, making their forms more distinct and allowing you to see it a bit clearer. It's like a floating mist of bluish silvery light that's, like I said, about 2 feet in length. Not super huge, but distinct. And they hover about chest height to, well, Salem. Melody, they're a little higher from your perspective, but not like a ton. But you get the idea.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, Aisha, with your 19, as you're listening for that sound again, you did hear it. It's in a different direction. It's a little bit closer to you, and it's definitely along your side of the fence. You heard that. And then in the corner of your eye, you see a light begin to glow that wasn't there previously.
Gonna follow the light.
Okay.
We'll
Leading.
follow Aisha.
Okay. Leading Kat along with you. The 2 of you make your way towards the direction of that glow. You would arrive basically about a couple minutes later to find them. Salem, Melody, what are the 2 of you doing while you're waiting? Are you just observing until they show up? Because all you've done, you know they've glowed, and you're hoping they're coming. Are you doing anything in the meantime?
I'm gonna keep an eye on the ghost things.
Yeah, I am as well. I'm Salem's getting to that point where he's a bit of a, like, he's done some stuff, but also he inherently likes helping people. And if these are the ghost kids and they're just kind of stuck and trapped, the urge to want to help is kind of really building up. But he's trying to restrain himself and watch a little bit more, see if anything develops. But
okay, so I guess my question is: are the 2 of you just remaining at the edge of the perimeter? Because you, like I described, you emerged from the stacks of wood to see this big open space. Are you remaining at the perimeter and just watching? Do you approach it to get a better view? How close, and if so, how close do you come towards them?
I'm scared to get closer.
you know what? I'm not. I'm gonna go. Keep watch. If something happens, I had a good life.
Okay.
But I don't want to let Salem get too far ahead, so I'll stay back but fall a little.
Okay, so we'll say there's about 15 feet between you and the spot where the mud is, and on the other side of that, there's that groove indentation, and that's where the four ghostly forms are hovering right now. Do you go towards the mud? Do you stop there? Do you make your way around and get really close? Just kind of how close are you trying to get to them?
I'm curious, now that I'm closer to the mud indentations, can I see if it actually makes an even bigger, like, now that I'm closer, is it creating something? I.e., is it like a sigil in the dirt?
That would be an insight check.
I can do that. Hopefully. I say that as I roll on that one. We'll see.
Can, but will you? Maybe.
13.
It honestly doesn't look like one. Imagine a standard puddle. It's oblong shaped. There's no human deformity to it. It's just a mud puddle. It doesn't really give you the vibe of being anything in design in particular. It's just a blob.
Okay. I'm gonna get as close as I can. I think actually Salem might call out to them.
What do you say when you call out to them?
Oh, shoot, I can't find my notes with the kids' names. Does anybody have those on hand?
I do, I just need to find it.
Are the milk carton kids?
Mindy Westwood, Lee Bradshaw, Jeremy Tanner, and Tim Reynolds.
Yes.
So Mindy, Lee, Tanner, and what was the last one?
Jeremy. Oh, sorry, Tim and Jeremy.
Yeah, Jeremy, Tim, Lee, and Mindy.
Okay. I will call out to them and be like, Mindy, Lee, Tim, Jeremy, is that you guys? We haven't met, but I'm trying to help.
You call out to them. As you're saying this, I imagine that's about the time that Aisha and Kat step into the yard or into the open area and spot Salem doing this. You're about maybe 8-10 feet away from the ghosts at this point. Make for me a persuasion check.
Oh my god. Nat 1. 4.
They don't seem to react at all as you call out to them. You do see a little bit of a flicker of movement, like they kind of hover and kind of move back, like kind of towards one another a little bit, but they don't seem to like react to you at all.
Okay. I might turn to Melody then and ask, Did you know these kids at all? They might not recognize me, which, if this is them, that could be why they're not wanting to interact.
When I roll a Hey, I Remember You?
Yeah, that's going to be a Hey, I Remember You.
Okay.
D100.
$77.
77. I believe that is a vague familiarity of them.
Or at least one of them.
Yeah, but at least one of them. I'm trying to find exactly where that says real quick. Give me... Okay, for a 77, you may have eaten lunch with them or made idle chit-chat a while ago, but nothing really more than that. So we're going to say that you've been... How long have you been at Cold Trust Academy, Melody?
Actually only since this summer, so the beginning of the school year.
Okay, so we're going to say that you probably met... oh god, actually... You only came here this summer? Yeah, you would probably have met Mindy at like an art thing at one point, and maybe the two of you kind of struck up a conversation, and so you recognize that name, and you kind of remember the fact that like the two of you were at a place, and you chatted about colored pencils versus markers and that sort of thing, and kind of had a little bit of a conversation. You vaguely remember that interaction between the two of you.
Okay. I say, hey Mindy, do you remember me, Melody?
It says here you gain 1 SP with the NPC.
Oh.
And so the minor detail is the fact that they both, that the two of you like art and drawing.
Okay, I say, do you remember me from we were in an art class together, did you say?
Sure, let's go with that.
Or like an art event?
It's entirely up to you. It's entirely up to you. You take it from there.
Okay, I'll say, do you remember me from art class? I'm Melody.
I'd like you to make a persuasion check as well.
Okay. Ooh, 22.
Yeah.
22. Like, you are very emphatically calling out to them. And one of the figures does seem to turn. And then another one seems to, like, move forward a little bit. And then a third one seems to move forward a little bit, a little lower. Almost like they're trying to look around one another. And they're all facing in your general direction, Melody.
I say, hello.
Do you think these indentations are trapping them here?
What's trapping them?
Do you think the indentations are?
Oh, maybe. I say, we're here tonight to help you. It seems like you're trapped here. How can we help you?
You say this, and you're all kind of stepping forward now, out from the perimeter towards the group. All of you are watching, curious to see how they react as Melody is speaking to them. She's kind of stepping forward as the spokesperson of your group, and you all watch to see how they react, which we're going to find out in about 10 minutes when we come back from break. So we'll be back really soon, everybody, and so stick around and hang out and find out what these entities do when Melody calls out to them.
Let's go.
Be right back. Howdy everybody, we are back, and when we last left off, our heroes have found what they assumed to be the silhouettes of 4 ghosts that came floating on into a very open clearing in the center of the Loroupa Lumberyard. Melody has called out, recognizing the name of one of the students who had died in this location, by the name of Mindy, and she's called out to Mindy and tried to get her attention. The figures, which I've described as basically just floating blue and silvery mists, all kind of looked forward and seemed to be regarding you, Melody, as you stand there and call out once again to them, asking if they recognize you or anything like that. Do you do anything else? Do you, what are the rest of you all doing, in fact, while this is happening?
I don't know if I can tell if or sense any like residual outsider stuff like we've experienced in other areas. Like, for instance, with the ghost hunting club, they had residual outsider magic still like in them that got removed. I didn't know if any of that was in the area that these orbs are at.
Okay. Well, while you're thinking about that, so make a mysticism check. Is anybody else reacting in this moment before I proceed?
I also asked them if they could tell us how to help them.
Yeah, and that's why I'm not going to answer you. I just wanted to know how they're reacting before I give you that answer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
14 mysticism.
Okay. And like I said, Aisha and Kat, you came in basically from the other side. So are you doing any Are you reacting in any way while seeing this?
Our soul crystals are still like just general glowing, not glowing as if there's actual outsiders around.
Correct. Their crystals are glowing a lot brighter than yours, but they've been using them as beacons for you to follow. So that's the only difference. But yours have remained the same.
I think there'd be like a little bit of attempt at just like doing a perimeter to make sure we're not there's still not someone coming from behind. There was a lot of sound going on. It's clearly unrelated to this, so I'm like one of our eyes watching our rear.
Okay.
I don't know if it's completely unrelated, but it's not part of this.
Okay.
But yeah. But Kat's gonna be like getting a little closer carefully, but trying to figure out what's going on.
Okay, so you're
just got here.
You're creeping closer at this moment. Aisha, give me that perception check. Salem, as these things seem to be regarding Melody, you're focusing on your crystal and trying to sense spectral energy. And it is there. There is this low presence of spectral energy that seems to linger in this area. It's difficult to pinpoint it. It's definitely stronger. Like you can sense the figures over there, and as you're like focusing through that, you get a sense of an outline, a humanoid outline. You know, head, shoulders, arms, legs. You don't see it, but you feel it there. If that makes sense. You can definitely feel the silhouettes of all four of them through your connection with your crystal and with your power. You can sense that there. While this is happening, hold on. I'm not going to lie, my throat's getting worse and worse. I'm trying to make it through tonight, but I will have to stop every so often to cough. Anyway, you ask, your Melody is calling out and asking them, how can we help you? How is there a way that we can do that? You do see you see a reaction. They all seem to move upward. They kind of rise up a little bit into the air. Then two of them move forward and down, while the other two move backward and down. You then watch as they start moving about a little bit, spreading. But they don't seem to be reacting to you any more than that. At the same time, Aisha, you're kind of looking back, listening, trying to hear if that sound is getting closer. However, it's gone. You don't hear anything else but the wind, which is disconcerting in and of itself. Because while there is the sound of the wind, that low mist is just hanging over the whole area around you.
Yeah.
So, Melody, do you react to anything, to these figures moving and spreading about?
Just trying to figure out what they're trying to communicate.
Does it look like they're walking like as if they're like stuck in a perimeter, like they're moving to it and can't get out kind of a thing?
It's difficult to tell from this moment. I'm kind of going in very small stretches to give you time to react or to make give you a chance to react. From like just that simple movement, two of them move forward, two of them move back to either side of that indentation that I had described. Then the two in the front kind of spread a little bit and seem to move forward. The two in the back kind of move around to the one side of that indentation. So they're all kind of getting a little bit close to one another, but they're just hovering there.
Can I walk forward to touch the edge of the indentation that they're in?
Yes, certainly you can. You can walk up to it and get right next to it. The forms don't seem to react to you as you move closer to them.
And if I reach out and touch the area, do I feel anything?
You can either make a perception check if you're trying to feel something physical, or if you're more trying to sense things, you can make a mysticism check.
Yeah, I'm trying to sense if there's some kind of energy there that's maybe keeping them trapped or something. So mysticism. Oh, 11.
Okay. You don't sense anything from the space that the indentation is there. Your hands pass through it just fine. You're not sensing like the presence of energy or anything like that. There's no like magnet feel or just odd tinglings. There's nothing.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna try stepping into it then.
Stepping into the space?
Yes.
Okay. You're able to do so without issue, and nothing seems to happen. However, as you're doing that, the ghostly figures start moving around you towards the northern part of the space, almost as though they're looking between some of the gaps. Two of them are near one, then there's a pallet, and then two of them move to the other side, seeming like they're hovering near that.
Okay, I'm gonna go move next to the pair that has Mindy. Oh, wait, do I know which one is Mindy?
You don't know which one's Mindy because you can't see their features. One of the four reacted first before the other ones did. Maybe that was Mindy, you're not quite sure. But there is one that reacted first, and it's one of the four. You could go up to that one if you want to.
Yeah, I can I tell the difference between them enough that I know which one it was?
I assume that you've been watching them carefully. There's no distinctive features between the four of them right now. They're all just misty blobs. However, from their placement, it's like, you know when you're watching somebody, you put a ball underneath a cup and then you're moving them around slowly? It's kind of like that. So you watched where it moved, and so you can go over to the one that reacted first to your words if you want to. Okay. You can absolutely tell which one's which.
Yes, I would like to do that.
Yeah. What do you do when you do that?
See if there's something that they're looking at or trying to show me by standing in that area.
Okay. Glancing down that field, it's a pathway between pallets. Give me a perception check.
Okay.
As you're gazing down there, what's everyone else doing? Are you all just watching Melody kind of interacting with them, or are you doing anything else?
No, I think Salem first, just in case it's a barrier, I think Salem's going to probably take his foot and try to like fill it in a little bit to break it.
You're able to do so.
And then I would follow her at this point. Melody and I have kind of been tag teaming this, so I'm going to stick close at least with her.
Okay.
Okay, me, the player, has like connected that we were led here by these spirits, but would my character have connected that?
If they look like they're looking towards something, Kat wants to see what they're looking towards.
Okay.
Is it the way that Aisha was saying the sounds were coming from before?
No, not at all. Your group came from the west side. Their group came from the east side. The figures moved towards the north side,
Okay.
towards where the mill is and where the entrance is.
Okay. Kat wants to look in that direction to see if there's something that they're pointing to.
Or sorry, not the north side, the south side. I'm sorry. I got that. I'm backwards. It's the south side towards the entrance. The north side is away from the entrance, but they're looking towards the south. Anyway, Melody was looking down one corridor of between the wood pallets, the stacks of wood. You can make a perception check to look down the other one, where the other two seem to be looking down.
Same thing, 10.
I'm trying to decide if I want to use the coin.
There might be something or there might not be anything to see.
I know, that's what I'm afraid of. I don't want to use it and have it be a waste.
Well,
I think... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Make your decision before I...
Okay, I think I will just because we're nearing the end and I want to see what happens, so... Let's see. I had a feeling that would happen.
I thought it would be a
Yeah.
10 again.
I thought that again.
Unfortunately, there goes the random Rhapsody coin, and as the two of you are looking down these paths, you don't see anything. It is dark. And the good news is that after a moment, each group move away from the spots that they were looking towards another grouping. A little ways towards the west, towards where Aisha and Kat entered it. They're looking down another pathway now, it seems like.
What are they doing?
I wonder if they came in from the doorway. They're looking, okay, was there anyone there? Oh, there's something over here. Let's look this way.
Well,
Maybe?
I think
Aisha heard sounds.
there's 4 of us, though. Maybe if we stay in the 4 places they've been looking? Like if we split up?
Sure.
I
we
don't know.
might as well try that, but I think... And she's gonna turn and look at the spirits and put her leader face on and go, "We're here to help, but unless you tell us what you need, we cannot do that."
No.
I feel like you're saying this kind of loud and forcefully. And for a second, you become hopeful because all 4 of the forms seem to move towards you. But then they all stop. A little bit, maybe 10 feet away from where you are. And you're looking at them, and it's almost like they're all looking at you. But then suddenly, very slowly, all 4 seem to be backing up. 1 step. Another step. Another step. Another step. And then suddenly, everything changes.
Uh-oh.
The mist seems to be swirling about you now. You didn't notice it at first. You've been too focused on the ghost figures, but as you look about, the mist is swirling around you all, coating the edges of this clearing, obscuring the wooden pallets and the stacks of logs beyond, moving upwards, as these forms begin to step backwards. However, the forms are beginning to change. The outline that Salem had felt are starting to become much more distinct. At first, it's nothing but a silhouette of shadow, but then it begins to expand outward, going from a 2-dimensional silhouette to 3-dimensional figures. Arms, legs, bodies, a uniform, a Coltras uniform you recognize, and faces, one of which you do recognize, as on the picture on that milk crate, Jeremy Tanner. The other
Did I
three,
do this?
the other three, two of them are boys, one is a girl. It's easy to make the connection. The 4 missing kids. They're nothing but mist. You can see partially through them. And I need everyone in this moment to make me a purity check. What do we get?
13.
Salem got a nat 20 for 25.
Nice.
Cat got a 24.
Nice.
I got a 10.
Good news is you all succeeded. Wasn't a difficult DC because you've seen this before, at least in a picture form. Not quite. Like, they didn't have the form and features they do now, but you can clearly see the 4 children, or teenagers, not children, standing there in this misty form. However, the faces of all 4 of them are horrified. You can see fear on it. Their wide eyes, mouths starting to go agape, and they're all stepping backwards and begin to turn and run when suddenly one of them, Jeremy, goes flying forward as ghostly blood goes flying from the back. You all watch in horror, transfixed in this moment, unable to look away, as these ghostly figures seem to be slashed and ripped apart by an unseen presence. All of you can feel something there, a shadow or a shade, big and bulky, but nothing more than that seems to be looming over these figures and ripping them apart brutally. However, after a moment of watching this, your minds return to you. How do you react?
Rage.
We will avenge you.
It is a grisly scene, even without sound, because there is none whatsoever. But the bodies are being ripped apart in very brutal detail. I'm not going to describe all of it because, I don't want to go too deep into gore, but all of you can't help but take a point of stress watching this.
Cat wants to look in the direction that whatever attacked them came from. See if there's anything in view, anything that... Make sure it's not there right now.
Perception check. Go ahead, Aisha.
I want to try and use the pinpointing feature of the soul crystal to make a post purity check against a potential outsider stealth skill.
Go ahead. Yes, everybody takes 1 point of stress.
Thank you.
Good news is if any of you would have failed, you would have taken 2.
Oh,
Wow.
that makes sense.
With your perception, Kat, you look back towards the direction that whatever that's attacking these children in this ghost form would have gone, but nothing's there. You can see how they're reacting and get the idea that it's right in the middle, right above where that big muddy wet area is. Because the way the bodies are going down of these ghosts, they're kind of spread around, almost against where that indentation is.
So that creature made the indentation.
No, the creature is above the... Okay. Here's the best way to describe it. what you assume where the creature would be is just a big empty space. There's nothing there. You're taking context clues of how the bodies are reacting to know that that's the space it probably would have been. It's above where the big wet spot on the ground is, the big muddy area. It's above that. The thing then, in the brutal rage that it's doing to these teenagers, where they end up is all right in front of that indentation. Almost as though they, like, ended up against whatever was there. Does that make sense? Yes.
I think Salem is actually very upset, so he's going to call out to the Wanderer. And he's going to say, listen, I know you're watching. I know you know things and have power. So what do we do to fix this? Yet, how do we free them? Because this is a cruel fate that no one deserves. Even if they're just shadows of people, doesn't matter. How do we break them from this?
As you say that, you look about and you do spot the Wanderer walking from in between a couple of those tall stacked pallets of wood. He walks over and sits down right there at your feet. His tail wraps around his back legs, and he looks at the scene. His head cocks to one side, and you watch those ears twitch a little bit. The Wanderer then looks up to you, and as he does, the wings on his back spread outward and begin to fly as he lifts up. That way, those cat eyes can look directly into yours, Salem. He says, these souls seem to be trapped here at the point of their end. I can sense residue of a spectral energy. An outsider was here and did this to them. I think that's all clear to all of you. And the violence of that was enough to leave what you're seeing here. What you're seeing here is a psychic imprint. It's trapped these souls in an almost retelling of their final moments. I don't believe any of them are actively conscious right now. They seem to be just stuck in a loop.
How do we break it?
That's the difficulty. There's usually one of two ways that can happen. The easiest and simplest would be to find the being that destroyed them, the thing that trapped them in this loop. If you can send that creature to elsewhere, if you can destroy its existence here on the material plane, that should unlock these souls and allow them to return. Your other option, well, that's not exactly one that Magi-Knights should pursue. But...
Go ahead.
Oh, what were you about to say?
I was about to say, I think Salem would say, I don't care what it costs. The creature will be dealt with, but this needs to be taken care of now. What do I need to do?
Well, the only way that you would be able to free them now is if you could break through and contact them. Force them to realize that they're caught in a loop. Speak to the souls themselves, but to do that would require summoning their spirits to, into a point that could actually communicate with you. That's dark magic. Speaking with the dead is not something anybody should do lightly through that sort of thing, because power like that can corrupt a Magi-Knight's soul.
That's a chance I'm willing to take. I accept this burden and responsibility then.
He kind of chuckles at that. Well, if you know, if you can conjure up a summoning spell, that would be the way to do it, but that's not something I know how to do. You would need you would need a necromancer, or you would need someone proficient in dark magic to do that sort of thing, or to teach you how.
Okay. Then my next step is clear.
Salem, that's I'm going to warn you again. Using any type of power like that corrupts. It's very deadly. I highly recommend not looking into that stuff.
And then Salem's going to swap back to the cooler demeanor and be like, listen, it's going to take a lot more than a little spell to taint all this. I have it under control. And if I don't, that's fine. I trust everyone behind me to take care of it. But this is too cruel.
I want to enter this conversation, but I need to know what's going on with my soul crystal first.
I'm sorry, Matt got sidetracked.
Sorry, yeah. John,
sorry, what was I having you roll for your purity again?
It was 22 versus any potential outsiders.
Thank you.
Stealth.
That's right, thank you. You are confident that there are no outsiders hiding in the immediate vicinity.
We don't have time to go finding tomes of black magic when we have an outsider to hunt down, and it's not around here.
There's no way we're doing this tonight.
Go to the sounds I heard, and then get out of here.
Go see if we can find out what made those sounds, and then we either have to hunt down the outsider or a tome of necromancy.
You guys don't need to do anything. The tome, I'll take care
Why
of.
don't we focus on the potential outsider I heard making nose grinding sounds?
Great,
Aisha
let's
heard
go.
something. We are going to check that out.
Well,
If we can't do anything here.
One step at a time. Let's
feel-
not jump ahead.
I feel like while the three of you are kind of talking about that melody, you would have heard that conversation as well. The Wanderer is not only speaking to Salem. What are your thoughts?
So there was actually a bit of a crisis where my daughter was texting me for part of that, so I only heard half of it. I'm very sad because I wanted to hear it.
No problem. So the Wanderers told Salem that there's two ways to break the ghosts out of their loop. Way number one would be to destroy the outsider that locked them in a loop in the first place. The second one would be to contact the spirits and speak with them and convince them that they're in a loop. Breaking, if you can get them to realize what's happening, they might be able to break out of it themselves. But the Wanderer also told Salem that trying to do summoning magic or speaking with the dead is very, very dark black magic that can taint a Magi-Knight's soul. But Melody, you've also run across something like that.
I'll say I actually may already have a book that has that. I haven't finished reading it, so I'm not sure yet, but I also think we need to take out the outsider anyway, and we should try to do that first, especially, I mean, if it takes too long to find the outsider and they're suffering all that time, I definitely will consider the other option with you, Salem. But if we can solve this fairly quickly, the non-dangerous way, then I think we should try. Well, non-dangerous in terms of turning us dark.
The way that doesn't result in long-term damage. Just
Yes.
rusts and bruises.
And the outsider is going to be hurting other people in the meantime, so it definitely has to be dealt with.
Yeah.
I still think the church is connected to the wood, church, tree, you know. I'm tempted to dump a pallet into this big mud puddle to see if it disrupts anything.
Have you
though.
never heard of Yggdrasil?
Hmm?
Have you never heard of Yggdrasil? It's fine. Let's find this outsider and not go taint our souls.
We can't do it right this minute anyway, so let's go follow Aisha's noise wherever it was.
Hopefully,
Lead
it
the
solves
way.
hopefully it just solves both problems.
We might find some cultists.
Everyone be ready to transform at a moment's notice. If danger happens, just get into your strongest form.
By the time you're finished with this conversation, you would notice that the mist forms seem to have dissolved down. The mist that's been swirling about your group is lessening as well and beginning to settle. Still in a haze, still about at waist height at this point. Since you're looking for that sound, I would like for you first to make a perception check before you start, moving about.
How bad are these? 6.
Anybody can make one if they want to.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah,
22.
Melody.
Oh, Melody.
Okay, Melody. Yeah, with that 22, you would hear a sound coming from the east. A slightly bit of a northeast. Low. That's not too far away from where you currently are.
Okay, I'll point in the direction I hear it coming from.
You all hurry forward. You have your crystals, which are still glowing faintly, which gives you a little bit of illumination, and you start hurrying towards where Melody is directing, towards the northeast. You move around a few pallets. Move quickly. I doubt you at this point you're worried about stealth. You're more worried about getting to where that sound is coming from. You step past a couple pallets and you see a small forklift sitting next to a couple pallets of wood. You don't hear the sound anymore, and it makes you pause, but then a little ways more east, you hear it again, riding on that 22. You continue moving, heading in that direction, and after a few rows, you spot a pickup truck. You're now seeing the main road that goes through the lumberyard itself, and sitting there near some pallets is a pickup truck. And as you come out from the wood and you see it, you do see for a moment that the headlights are on, just barely, flickering, and then shuts off again. Do you continue listening? Do you investigate?
Are our
Investigate.
crystals glowing or any more than anything?
They are beginning to grow fainter.
Let's go investigate, I think.
Did we see any people or any movement in the truck?
Investigation checks, please. You do not see any people in the truck. it is completely dark. However, Aisha, with that 21, to the north, you see another light. It is one of those big old spotlights that are on like just a pole in the middle of the yard. It starts to glow a little bit and then fade out once again. And then further down the road to the north, you see another one of those lights at the fence pop, and a little bit of sparks come out. And at that moment, with that pop, the light in your soul crystals vanish.
So there was something in the truck and it moved to the light and then it left?
Maybe it seemed like something ran off.
Yeah.
Wonky-chan.
You also can't help but note that the mist is gone.
Mhm.
Unless all of it was part of the same event. That's also a possibility that these things actually were part of like some kind of residual energy.
So maybe they heard that sound when they were attacked?
Maybe there were cultists or something here and brought that monster up and it went after them, and then the cultists left. I don't know.
Whatever it is, it's gone. So we're done here. Salem is pissed. He's so mad right now. He's still just reeling from everything.
There's nothing left here, and we didn't accomplish anything.
No, we accomplished something. We found a problem, and we have found ways to solve that problem. We have more information than when we arrived.
We have to find the outsider connected to this. Is there any clues to where the outsider went? Maybe we should search the truck, see if there's anything in the truck that would give a clue of where. And then again, it's probably just a delivery or brings it to the front. I just half expect to see a religious pamphlet in its glove compartment.
Both me
Yeah, we should check
and
it.
Aisha do not understand this connection you are making.
Cat's just like, there's trees all over the church. There's lumberyard. Connection. Trees, wood.
Everybody's cultists.
Everyone's a cultist everywhere.
So are you going to go investigate the truck?
Yes, please.
Yeah, we'll go look at the truck before we leave.
I want to check the broken light.
Okay. So those of you who are checking the truck, make an investigation check. If you're going to the northern part of the fence, which is where that last light bulb kind of blew and sparked, make for me a perception check.
Wow.
It's 11.
It's just a blown light bulb on a spotlight hanging above the fence line. I will point out it is at the northernmost part of the yard. Beyond that, on the other side, that's the woods. That's the forest. Going beyond there, the forest is very dense, very large.
So it ran into the forest.
Melody and Salem and Kat, the three of you went to go investigate the truck. Salem, you were very happy to find the keys in one of those little slidey magnets on the back wheel well with that nat 20 of yours. So you're able to get into the cab and actually do a thorough search.
Salem also has a free truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can drive it home.
You could if you want
I
to.
wouldn't leave it outside your house.
Hey, I'm all for a little bit of car theft. We haven't had that yet in this campaign. We had it in the previous.
Yeah.
So, anyway, You open up the truck, you do a very thorough search as Aisha is making her way over to the light. There's not a lot in there. You find a hard hat, you find a couple nudie magazines stuffed up underneath the seat. You find a lot of empty beer cans in the back of the, behind the seat of the truck. Kat, your suspicion is rewarded by finding a very old and used Bible in the glove compartment.
Oh. Does it say Sacred Heart Church on the inside?
No, it's one of those Gideon Bibles. It's just the New Testament and the Psalms that you would find given away.
Did we happen to notice that that's the kind they have in the Sacred Hearts Church?
I don't think you had looked at any Bibles while you were there.
I have to make a note.
There's a Bible! There's a Bible! And there's alcohol! He's drinking on the job! Maybe he's an alcoholic. Maybe he's part of the Alcoholics Anonymous group.
Did any of them... Was anybody dressed like a construction worker or a lumberyard worker?
I'm gonna say let's make, I hate that there's no history check in this game. Let's just call it a retroactive perception check from when you were at the church to see if you happen to spot somebody who might look like they work in a lumberyard.
20. Not natural, though.
Not natural, but still, that's a 20. I'm going to say that, yes, you do remember as you're looking about what, at least a few of the individuals there at the AA meeting did look like they were blue-collar workers, and at least one of them, you're like, yeah, could have been a lumberyard worker. You know, they had the red flannel on and the suspenders, and you could have sworn they whistled as that you were leaving, "I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay."
Make it more obvious, dude.
Is there a name in the hat or anything?
We're gonna say that the hard hat, there is going to be a name, and it's going to be Jenkins.
I figured we just look at the registration in the glove compartment.
Is there one?
Or anything?
Salem would have looked.
There probably would be, and let's say his name is Robert Jenkins, and there is an address.
Got it.
Oh, we can take his truck home after we're done borrowing it.
Or wait, if he's no longer there, and I have the keys, that's also a free home. I'm winning tonight. I got a free car and a free house. Let's go.
Well, no. It's just the car key and it's the spare key, you know, in the wheel well.
Darn. Okay. Not yet, then. I will get that house.
You already have your own house, don't you? Don't you live alone?
I know, I do, but I want two.
Man, we're learning so much about Salem today, the Wanderer says. You happen to notice he's sitting on the dashboard now of the truck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if you want to steal a truck, because that's a corruption action. You know, you steal a bunch of stuff, you do a bunch of crime, you eventually become corrupted.
Is it stealing it to drive it to the entrance?
I suppose that depends on how it weighs on your soul.
Is it stealing if the owner is actually dead?
We broke a camera. We already broke a security camera.
But is he dead if he was at the AA meeting?
When can I return to the scene?
Oh yeah, by now, definitely. Sorry.
We're talking about AA meetings and stealing trucks.
Wandy-chan, is there like a bestiary of outsiders that I can read?
Oh, no, I wouldn't know any. There's definitely not that. Like, I mean, sure, individuals have encountered outsiders throughout history, and they've made allegory and that sort of thing. Like, you know, all of your world religions make mention of spirits and demons and things like that. And let's be honest, those are all the ones that aren't made up, and probably a lot of it is, but the ones that aren't are definitely outsiders.
Do you know of any that can possess light bulbs?
Possess light bulbs? No, but I did see what happened too, and to be honest, I think that was a reaction of the event that was playing out. You all being here added to the energy of the time loop that they were in, or death loop if you would prefer. Your power being here is what amplified it and allowed you all to see it so clearly, and probably why everything reacted the way it did.
I have a question about outsiders. Do outsiders work together, or are they all their own little...
There is an overall hierarchy within the outsiders. They can absolutely work together. There's levels of like your average common foot soldier type, and there's those that command that, and there's those that command that. There's certainly a hierarchy, which you would all have seen when you went to the restaurant and fought that one. That was definitely a commander. That led others, the other outsiders, and was clearly the thing influencing the chefs there.
Mm-hmm. But he could have had a boss.
It's certainly possible, and probably likely. The goals of the outsiders, it's difficult to tell, but it is assumed that they want domination over this world. And usually when something wants domination, there's a thing in the background that's directing it all.
Yes.
I was just wondering if they were all like little factions that don't work together, or if they actually were more cohesive unit that were fighting.
I suppose that in the general sense, all of them work towards the overachieving goal, the overarching goal of dominating this world and enslaving mankind. But how each faction works is difficult to say.
It's essentially like the fictional levels of hell, where each level has its own boss. They have their own means to go about it, but...
If the outsider that ended our classmates' lives is causing this death loop, is there a way to trace the spectral energy from the death loop to it?
I think it could be possible, but definitely difficult. It depends greatly on how much energy of residue is left, and how far you're able to channel your own power into tracking it. But could it be done? Yes, and since you've all actually been able to see this event and it reacted to you, there's a possibility that you would be able to harmonize with the residents there and follow to wherever it went. However, your time is very limited, and the Wanderer looks up into the air and looks at the moon. It's getting extremely late. It's almost 1 o'clock now, and while I certainly support you following and tracking this energy, we don't know how far or how long it'll take you to find wherever it ended up. And it could have just trucked through the woods for miles and miles, or it could have just held up a few feet away. There's no way of knowing for sure. The only thing I'm going to bring up, I'm not going to say don't do this. I'm just going to point out that if you trek out into the woods, there's no way to say for sure when you'll get back. If it's like an hour there and an hour back, sure, you'll be able to get home and go to bed and get up for school tomorrow and be kind of exhausted, but it's not going to be too bad. But if you end up spending all morning or all night and into the morning running through the woods trying to follow it, you could miss school.
I'd be okay with that, but I don't.
I feel like we would need Damian's car in order to follow it.
I don't
If
know if he can off-road with that.
Yeah.
No, but if it leaves the forest and goes through town.
Well, north is
Whoa.
away from town, I will point out.
Okay. Yeah, but it might have like looped around or who knows what it did.
That's very true. That's absolutely
I mean, it
true.
could have went to the power plant for all we know.
But there's one way to find out is to actually go for it.
Yeah.
We're going to be dead tomorrow.
You don't have to come with.
No, we're sticking together.
What do you think, Melody?
I personally think we should wait till tomorrow, even though I am really upset about this, but it would be best if all of us were together and we were rested.
Yeah, but there's a time limit on how long it'll last.
Is there?
More might not be here.
The outsider?
Did Wandy-chan, you said that it will last until we defeat the outsider or
Well,
dispel it ourselves.
the time loop will, absolutely,
Yeah.
yes. The reason I think you can track where it went from there is because everything reacted to your power being here. You watched the whole scene, you resonated with it, and it gained power from you being here. So that's why you were able to see the whole thing and all that. So right now you could track it. Tomorrow, say, if you were to return here, the same scene might interact with you. It might not.
Well, if we can track it, we can map it. We don't have to fight tonight. Once we know where it went to, we can make a plan. Meet up with Nova Seeker and take this thing out.
That's true.
I think for the first time tonight, Aisha, you and I are on the same wavelength.
Okay.
Okay, so what's the plan here?
We're gonna track it
You're gonna track
and
it?
map it.
Okay. Well, here's the good news. It's not too difficult to get out of the lumberyard, and it's certainly not as hard as it was to get into it. There are pallets of wood near the fence. You could climb up on it and jump over and land with a bit of a tumble, but it won't be nearly as hard as other things you've been through. I will need an athletics check from everybody just to get over the fence. It's still a 10, not too hard.
Oh,
Where did
Melody.
my random Rhapsody coin go?
Yeah, you used that one
Is
already.
Kat able to use that nat 20 to help Melody over?
Unfortunately, no. This is each one of you climbing up and jumping off. Melody, you land very hard. You feel a snap. And you've broken your ankle. It hurts. As you take 1 point of damage. However, in your civilian forms, you notice that like you're when you land, it hurts. You feel that crack. You cry out a little bit. And as you lay there, clutching your leg, you start feeling a tingle in there.
I just want to establish Aisha immediately just goes to her side and is like doting on her.
I imagine everybody rushed over to you to try to help you and console you a little bit, but the Wanderer is there as well, and he says, "No, we can't have this now, can we?"
No,
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, go. I was just gonna say, no, we can't. I don't like being the center of attention.
I can't imagine there's maybe a tear or two trickling down your cheek as you say that, somewhat defiantly. The Wanderer reaches out and touches your ankle lightly. Good news is that in your civilian forms, you tend to heal up quite a bit more than you normally would. I mean, it took, what, a week for Aisha's cancer to be cleared from her body? Now, you're going to have a hard time walking for about an hour. It's going to feel rough, but it should heal up pretty quickly.
Thank you.
That's the benefit of being a Magi-Knight. We can't allow you to walk around with bloody, bruised bodies all the time. If everyone knew you're getting into a fight constantly, they'd be suspicious. So this definitely helps out. And as everyone kind of helps you up on your feet, like, you do have to limp for a little bit. And for the first hour of your travel, you are going to be moving at a slower pace than you would have, because Melody is kind of hobbling and limping a little bit. And Salem, your ankle kind of hurts a little bit too. Not nearly as bad as hers, but shared experience, that sort of thing.
We can do like the game where you tie two legs together. We'll tie our two bad legs together.
But after about an hour or so, your leg is healed up enough that you are able to put pressure on it and walk without a lot of pain. So that's good. Now, what I'd like for all of you to make is a mysticism check. However, we're going to do this a little bit differently than we normally do, because this is actually going to be a group check. So everyone is going to get a D4, and you're going to roll that D4. If you are proficient in a skill, you get to add 2 points to that roll. If you are not proficient, you get to add 1 point to that roll.
You said mysticism, right?
It is mysticism.
Okay.
I don't think I'm proficient.
Are you kidding me? Ugh.
3 total.
1d4 plus 1, so 4.
Okay. What was yours, Aisha? You had a +1 as well?
Oh, yeah, +1.
Okay. And, Kat, are you proficient in mysticism?
I'm not proficient.
Okay. So let's see.
14.
14.
And we need a 54, right?
Yes, you do. We will need a 54. It normally would have been Damian. We're going to have Aisha roll this one.
Okay.
As leader?
As leader.
That's another 4 then?
So 18 total.
Yeah.
Okay. Your group travels through the woods, following something of a trail. It's faint. It's difficult to make out. You're all holding your soul crystals, concentrating on them. As you're walking through the woods, you can hear the Wanderer humming to himself a little bit as he flaps along with you. It's not a tune any of you are familiar with, but he's just kind of humming along to himself as he follows you all. However, after about an hour or so of walking, at this point, Melody and Salem, your ankles are feeling Well, Salem, your ankle feels just fine. Melody, you can put weight on it without it hurting. You're starting to walk a little bit better. But at that point, the trail goes cold. And you cannot sense anything anymore. How do you react?
I punch a tree.
Press the dirt.
Both of your
Cat's just
knuckles
gonna go, there has to be something!
Yeah. Can we look around and see if it stopped because we maybe found something?
There's something around, or is it just it ran out?
You can either make perception or investigation checks. Everyone can make one.
Jesus! The power of punching!
Works every time.
Natural 20 for a total of 21 investigation, which is not that
natural
impressive because...
I got a natural 20 for a total of 24.
2 nat 20s. We couldn't get any at the beginning. We're doing.
I know. I'm so mad about it.
I got a 9. Cat's just like crystal only.
Here's the crazy thing. You're all looking about. Is this the spot where it could have stopped? Aisha and Salem almost at the same time go, there! And point to the north. You can see several trees have been broken and shoved aside, and what you can kind of make out as an unnatural path by something larger than you pushing through some trees. And as you're looking on the ground, whereas before now you've been following the sense of the magic, but now that you're looking about, there's drag marks on the ground. Very clear indication of something rather large being drugged behind it and making an groove and disturbances in the ground through this path of very large trees being pushed aside.
I think we're going to be skipping school tomorrow, guys.
I just have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Back when they said the kids were thrown, it looked like they were thrown up against something. Was it something that wasn't there anymore? Like whatever this thing was this thing was dragging might have been what the kids were thrown up against.
The way the bodies of at least a couple of them were positioned, it looked like they were leaning against something. It's hard to make a defining shape of absence. But judging based on the width of the thing, the length of the thing, and the way the bodies were positioned, it's definitely at least a couple feet around. So pretty big. Here's the question.
So do you guys
go ahead?
Do you guys point out this thing?
I mean, we both yelled there.
Yeah, you both yelled there.
Do we go check it out? Go peek carefully in case something is there? We're down a member.
I don't think we're going to be making it back to school tomorrow. Aisha says as she starts walking in the direction.
I also start walking, force a transformation, and stride on.
How are you feeling, Melody?
If you force a transformation, I'm going to respond and force a transformation too.
Are the two of you forcing a transformation? Because that does give you 4 cracks on your soul crystal.
4 cracks.
4?
I thought it was 2.
No, it's 4.
That's 4.
Oh my god. Okay. I also thought it was 2. No, I'm not going to force it.
No. If it's only 2, if it's 4, no.
It was 2? Absolutely. 4? No. Too much.
We will take a look. There might be nothing there anymore, but we know it did come here.
Aisha and Salem seem to be striding towards the path, for lack of a better term.
I made a verbal declaration. It was a little vague.
I guess we have no choice but to follow them.
Yep, we'll be
There's
careful.
always a choice.
We are not
Can't
the
leave you
Second They're
alone.
teammates.
Okay. The scene pulls back as our 4 heroes, missing their 5th, begin following this trail deeper and deeper into the northern woods surrounding Loroupa. And that's where we're going to end things for this evening.
Good.
But as you're all stepping through there, you do hear the Wanderer's voice calling, Damian, can you hear us? We just want to give you an update of what we're doing. And that's where we're going to end things for this evening. So, well done, everybody. I hope that was as fun for you as it was for me. Got some interesting information checking out the Lumberyard, and you're all heading into the woods at 3 a.m.
We're teenagers. It's the 90s. This actually isn't that uncommon.
That smile is scary.
I think I gave you a good title for this episode.
Oh yeah, what's that?
I don't think we're making it to school tomorrow.
I don't think we're making it to school tomorrow. I like it. Okay, well, thank you to everyone who watched this evening. We very much appreciate you tuning in and hanging out with us. Come back in 2 weeks to find out what our heroes find as they continue to follow this trail deeper and deeper into the woods. Should be a lot of fun. Now, as always, we like to go around the table and have everyone tell us who they are and where we can find them on the internet. And, Kira, since you're the one who did our recap, why don't you go ahead and go first?
Sure. I'm Kira. I'm the assistant creator of Magi-Knights Awakening. And you can find any of our social media on our website, magi-knights.com. And you can also find our book, the PDF on Drive-Thru-RPG, and soon we'll have print on demand available there as well. And I'm also the author of the children's book, My Dad, the Game Master, which you can find on Amazon.
Very cool. Hana, why don't you go next?
Hi, I was your Aisha for tonight, your steadfast hero. You can find me anywhere on the internet at Destiny Trio INC. You can find me here every 2 weeks, and on the 12th, on Mother's Day, you can find me where I play complete opposite of this character, my trans hacker girl, Ash, in a City of Mist game called Paintown, where our plot threads are coming together, and I think we're about to get into a big fight with some evil rifts of gods. So check that out.
Ooh, I like the parallel. Ash, you're next.
I'm Ashleyien. I played Katrina, and you can find me here every 2 weeks.
Right on. John, you're next.
I'm John. You can find me at Random Rhapsody every other Monday and Wednesday. On Mondays, I play Draven, who is a wonderful little gothic cinnamon roll. I love him. Currently, we are now kind of regrouped with a new team. We got a 5th member. It's whole new fun. And then let's see. Oh, I'm actually going to be in a one-shot over at Bard Rock Cafe that friend and former player of the Magi-Knights campaign, Tensei, is going to be DMing for. So it's going to be a lot of fun over there. So.
Oh, I am so jealous of you. I would love to see that. Definitely going to have to watch it. Well, as always, I am Matthew R. Dawson, your friendly neighborhood host and game master here on the Random Rhapsody Network. You can find me on the tweets and instas as @ScruffyWanderer, and pretty much everywhere else that that social media exists. That's where I am. You can always find me over on All on the Table TTRPG. I'm going to be there not this Saturday, but next Saturday, the 11th, playing my favorite lovable rogue, Tybal Toldrum, a catfolk who thinks he's more of a swashbuckler than a rogue, but mechanically he's a rogue, so whatever. He's a lot of fun to play. But yeah, so on behalf of everyone here in the Magi-Knights and everyone in the Random Rhapsody crew, I just want to say thank you, folks. It's been a delight. So long. Good luck. And until next time, may your dreams be infinite. And good night.
Nighty night.
Bye.
Good night.